You know, we all do our things differently.
Do you have your question?
Okay.
Brett,
So,
do you have a recording of footage like Ricky?
no, I was told I should do that a long time ago.
Hey, guys, we can do a little bit more Q&A in a few minutes, but we're running out of time. So I wanna elaborate a little bit more on what this is. This thing down here, so what we do in these areas, like this is paper, but we license the proprietary software that's got like 500,000 algorithms in it that like runs all the numbers. We plug in your financials like down to the dime. And then what we do in this, through the coaching program, is we'll spend 2, 3, 4 weeks just focusing on how to cut your costs. So like if we spent 2, 3, 4 weeks just dialing in deep dive on how to cut costs, what percent of an impact do you think that we could have on cutting costs? If we spent a month, like really going 100 miles an hour, what do you think, 10, 20%? 50? Like, what do you think, 10?
30.
So
90.
instead of that, what we're gonna do is we're gonna be super fucking conservative.
Oh, wow.
Guys, if all we do is a 3% impact right here, and then we come in and we spend another 2, 3, 4 weeks talking about how you can create a market dominating position, you know, do you think that we could probably do at least a 3% improvement across the board if you spent a month creating a market dominating position? And a market dominating position is, what do you do that nobody else does? Brent nailed it when he said, we talked about that job that he had to do after hours. Dude, is anybody in your town the after hours office clean out guy? Anybody heard of that?
That's
I
rare.
bet that's a hell of an opportunity.
It's trash and dash. We're gonna get in and get out.
That's a
Trash,
market
dash,
dominating
cash.
position. What can you do? So if we spent 2 or 3 weeks, 4 weeks crafting like the ultimate market dominating position, you know, maybe you're just, dude, I work with a guy in New England. All he does is dumpster bags. The guy does $1 million picking up dumpster bags. He'll pick up 20, 30 bags a day. He's got 3 crane trucks. He's fucking just driving nonstop picking up bags. He's got a market dominating position. He does a shitload of demolition. He does a shitload of junk removal, but he doesn't market it. All he does is the dumpster bag guy. He's got a shitload of contractors. All of us would be jealous to have what he has. He doesn't talk about junk removal. He's a dumpster bag guy. So like, if you spend 2 or 3 weeks figuring out how you can have a market dominating position, you think we can get 3% off it? Probably, right? So what happens is we'll spend 2 or 3 weeks, or even if you just spent a week, you know, crafting the best compelling offer. Like, dude, everyone wants to give got junk shit for doing a free mattress pickup. That's a hell of a compelling offer, though. You know what I mean? You got all of us in a tough, in a tiff, whatever the fuck. You know, like,
It gets you on site to upsell.
they understand the power of acquiring a customer. So they're willing to lose a little bit of money to acquire a customer that's going to spend $1,200 with them over the course of 2 years. So it's all right to have a loss leader on them. You know what a loss leader is? Like, you know, you guys are losing a little money on the front end to acquire a customer. You got to have the right mentality to understand that, you know, like you said, downselling is a real thing to do, you know, and sometimes you got to downsell to get the customer. And so understanding that. And so if we spent 2 or 3 weeks, 4 weeks, crafting a compelling offer, and so we just go through all these areas. This is only 10. Inside the program we have that goes over the course of a whole year, there's 40 different areas that we focus on. So, you know, some of them might only be 2%. Some of them might be 1%. Maybe we do 10, 20, 30, 40% on your marketing. But if all we did in every single one of these areas is 3%, bundling. So multiple services. You know, someone comes to you asking about junk removal, bundle it together. You know, cleaning services. You know, anybody do cleaning services? Dumpster bags. You know, you can bundle dumpster bags. You just give them a deal by putting multiple services into one offer. So 3%. We ran out of time, but basically what we do is we'll spend 2, 3, 4 weeks going through every different area of your business, adding additional products and services, have a 1, 2, 3% impact. What you're gonna find is at the end of the year, a lot of these areas that we're trying to get 2 or 3%, we might get 10 or 15%. But if all we did was 3% improvement on all of these different areas, if for a company that's doing 300,000 in sales, if we improve 3% on all of those areas, the revenue increase is 98,000. Your current profit goes from 45,000 up to 97,000, and your 5-year profit impact is an additional 262,000, just by improving in 3% impact in all these different areas, because it's compounding. You're talking about a 3% improvement on this area, but when you improve 3% here, well, now 3% on a bigger number is more, so it compounds. And so if you improve in every single one of these different areas, you're gonna double or triple your profit before you even increase your sales. So that's what this whole thing's about. We're gonna be doing it for free in the group, so we're not gonna be doing it on paper. It's a lot more structured. It's, you know, there's an online program, and we go through the training modules, and we just basically want to try to help you improve 2, maybe 3% in all these different areas. And if we do that, you're gonna double your profit margins. And so you want to triple your profit margins before you triple your sales. Because if not, you're gonna end up doing 2 or 3 times the work, and you're not gonna make any more money. Does anybody know anybody that, you know, doubled or tripled their sales and their profit margins went up? No? No. I've never heard of anybody tripling their sales and getting higher profit margins. It's because everyone is so focused on scaling your sales, you don't even think about the core of your business, which is profitability. So that's the whole idea, is build a better, stronger, more profitable business, and then scale up. Because you're not ready. You're not ready for 3 times the sales. What would you do if you got 3 times your sales tomorrow? You could, yeah. I mean, that's what I did. But if you're not in the subcontracting space, which most of us aren't, you know, you're all running local businesses, you've got to be profitable, and you got to get those numbers under control. So, and it's, you know, you got to go 100 miles an hour in every direction. Like, dude, if we all had Carson on our team as the guy driving the trucks, we'd all be really rich, because that motherfucker can sell. You know what I mean? And so you have to build your team. You have to build the systems inside your business to manage it all. Automations, you know, like, what can you automate? He was talking about automated text and emails and using a CRM, and, you know, these are the things that you can do to make your job easier. You know, online bookings, 30-40% of your people will book online if you give them the option. You'll go to bed at night, and then you'll wake up and be like, oh, I didn't have to do anything. I've now got, you know, a couple extra jobs on the schedule, and it just happens. So, you know, building these systems and building the right team around you.
Be a forward, be realistic, and be honest.
100%.
When you first started, what was your obstacle and what was your motivation to get what you are at now? But how did you start your company? With what just houses, or did you went to the commercials?
So I started on accident. I was like a jack of all trades. I was doing arborist work, so tree work, landscaping, fencing, decks. Like I was the go-to guy, you know, and so I was spread out thin, doing a bunch of different things. Every once in a while someone would ask me if I could haul off a pile of brush, and sure. I didn't think it was like a real business at that point. But things took shit. Like I didn't know how to build decks, but I had guys that were working for me that were like, dude, we can build fences and decks, and we were getting through some deals, and we got some fences done, and we had some happy customers. We did a couple decks, and then someone asked us to do an elevated deck out in the hill country. And so I asked my guys, I was like, can we do this? Like a freaking idiot. Like, dude, I didn't even know how to lead these people, and I was just taking these jobs. And so 1 month, 3 jobs went south, and I lost 30 grand. My account was negative. Like, I was using PayPal, and the people, we were just doing a fucking terrible job. Like, the guys that I had working for me didn't know how to build an elevated deck, and I didn't know how to do it, and so we got fired, you know, and I lost a shitload of money. So I was sitting on my front porch, and I'm thinking, what do I do? Like, I can't rely on other people. I've got to do something that I can do by myself, and it was jumping. It's like, all right, I mean, every once in a while, I'll haul off tractors. It's not sexy, but it's quick, and the profit margins are huge. So I said, what can I do to fill my schedule with jump? And that was 2011. So I started with Yelp. I had 100 reviews on Yelp before I even had a Google business profile.
Wow.
Yeah.
How'd you recover from that?
From what?
As far as Yelp, getting raised by Yelp. Well, at that time,
Oh, it was great, dude. Yeah, no, back then Yelp was great.
It's crazy.
Yeah. No, the only thing Yelp is good for right now is free leads. So go in there and create a profile and you know, you can be active, but I wouldn't pay for ads on Yelp.
I have a question. You guys were talking about scaling up a little bit during the presentation, but I noticed on one of the papers there, you said you guys had like 300 in sales, but only like 40-something thousand in profit. Is it worth it to scale up when, you know, you have 300 in sales, 45 profit? Maybe if you only have like 100 or like 80,000 in sales, you could have very, very close to that. Is it worth it to keep scaling? Because 300 in sales, 45K in profit, I feel like
That would be a 15% net profit.
yeah. Whereas I feel like if you're doing something on a smaller scale, you could have very, very similar profit, even though you have way less sales.
Profit feeds your revenue, feeds your ego, profit feeds your family. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like for sure. You would do better on a $500,000 business that has its profitability in line than you would on $1 million company where you're making 8% margins. Like,
Yeah.
so the whole idea.
So you're saying 398 in sales and 45 profit?
No,
I
this
think
is-
what
That was
This is before
before the
improvement.
impact. Yeah, this is just an example. You know, a company doing 300,000 at 15 net profit margins taking 45.
Oh, okay.
If we have a 3% impact on all these other areas, this is the difference.
Gotcha,
You're
gotcha,
gonna, you're gonna
gotcha.
add like an extra 53,000.
But so was that slide like that's where you want us to get to, or is that what you're trying to get us to avoid? Is like 300 in sales and like the like 97 or 45 to 97.
He's just showing you the difference in the compound of all the changes that you made.
If we have a
towards your additional revenue.
Okay.
If we have a 3%
Okay.
impact on all these different areas, that's what it'll do. Instead of making 45, you can make 90 on 3. Yes.
Okay.
So the idea is to before you go from 300,000 to 600,000, you want to make 90 grand on your 300 instead of 45. You know, so we try to double your profit, triple your profit margins before you actually scale. So you do that on the front end while you're building up your website, your SEO, and doing all that.
You scale making the most money you can per job.
Yeah.
And then
Profitability.
Yeah.
Because we did the same thing. Like we scaled up our businesses quick, but we didn't make a lot of extra money.
Yeah.
And so it's like, why run 100 miles an hour to make the same amount of money?
You're doing something wrong a lot.
Yeah.
I have a quick
I'm
follow-up.
sorry, I know you guys are running out of time. You said there was 12 steps. What are the last 3 before we finish, please?
Digital marketing.
We're gonna do way better than 3%. But even if all we did was 3% on your digital marketing, that's the impact it would have. So like, we wanna do 10, 20, 30, 40, 50% better on your marketing. After a year, we're trying to double or triple your sales. But if all we did is a 3% improvement, you double your profit margins.
Yeah.
So, we focus on digital marketing, leads, drip campaigns. So the end of it is more just like kind of marketing stuff. Y'all know what a drip campaign is? No. Emails? Basically what you do is you build out like a drip campaign. So you'll create a year's worth of emails, and then when people get added into your emails, they're gonna receive a schedule of, you know, a couple follow-ups a month. On the 90-day, they'll get a follow-up email. It's basically just to reach out to these people on a predetermined time. And so once you funnel them into your email system, they're all going to get the same schedule of emails at a predetermined time. Drip campaign.
Hey, as a follow-up question, what percentage are you guys that you think is ideal for you to have like top? So I know like the 300 to 97, that's like roughly 33% of what you're shooting for.
A
What do
lot
you
of
think is
people
like
think that they're doing 40% because you just think about your gross profit margins. Like you get on a job and you're like, hey, I made $1,000 on the sale, cost us $200 for disposal and 50 in gas. So yeah, I just made 750. You know, that's your gross profit margin. Once you look at all your overhead and everything, your net is probably not 40%. I'd have a hard time believing there's a lot of people operating at 40% net.
So what are you shooting for? Like what, all the companies that you work with, what are you trying to get them at?
20 to 40.
So
I think most people land around 9.
9%?
Yeah.
Really? So if you make like 100,000 in sales, you think they're only pulling like 9 in profit?
Well, when you're that small, you're bringing in more.
Yeah.
Once you start scaling, it drops, and they're usually bringing in around 9%.
Because you're paying the driver, you're paying for the truck,
Yeah,
you're paying
yeah.
for all
The
that.
more you scale, the more expensive.
How much are you spending to make that?
Yeah, 100,000 is like a 1-2 person
It's not like
operation.
a straightforward line. It really goes like a curve, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, even if you're doing the like absolutely best that you can do on a $2 million company, it's going to be a little lower margins than some guy doing 250 by himself on the truck.
Yeah, Ricardo's gonna kick your ass all day long. I mean,
Yeah.
you know.
Ricardo's
But
probably
that's-
got the highest margins in.
But that's a loss leader. That's $45 for it's a loss leader. You know that's how you get.
It's market.
Was there someone else that had a question? Yes.
It might be a strange question, and it may not even be the same, ballpark way you do things, but, I've been pitched by JRA, Junk Authority, that they'll build this, they'll do this, they'll get you out there, Mark, they'll do all, how are you different? Or do you do the same, or what is, and you may say, I don't know, I've never even looked into it. That's
I
cool.
know about JRA.
Okay,
My
can you
biggest
give me an
competitor.
idea of how, I'm not asking you to bag on JRA, I'm sure they're very good at what they do, but can you give me an idea where we're all shopping, and if I go, might as well look into something
That's
else.
a really good question. He asked, what do we do at Junk Blitz Pro to help people with their businesses, right? As far as marketing. Basically, I learned that you have to go 100 miles an hour in every direction for as long as you can, as hard as you can. You can't just do Google ads. You can't just do SEO. You can't just put yard signs out. You can't just be on social media. You got to do all of it. So that's what I do. We do websites. We do SEO. We
Pricing
provide
sheets.
the marketing materials. Like our design team will design your yard signs and your business cards and trifold pamphlets, door hangers, and the pricing sheets. Pricing sheets, Carson already nailed it. It's not something you advertise. It's a closing tool and a training. It's a training tool for your team. Those price sheets. So we help you create all of your local marketing materials. We do social media marketing, so we blast every day on all your socials. We optimize the Google Business Profile. We post every day on your Google Business Profile. Build out all the products and services. And
When are you coming back with pricing? When do we get to hear that? Is that tomorrow?
I'll talk about pricing.
Well, I don't know what the schedule
Well,
is.
we weren't here to sell.
I know.
It's just if you're interested.
Oh, you mean like how much I would charge for that?
Yeah, like, when